Let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in your sight, O Lord, my rock and my redeemer. Well, none of this sounds pleasant. In fact, there's stuff here that's downright disturbing. Even so, Jesus keeps insisting that we not be afraid, but then he goes to some pretty dark places. I have not come to bring you peace, he says. I have come to set one family member against another. Take up your cross, or you are not worthy of me. You must lose your life for my sake. Do you think Jesus ever got angry? That's a rhetorical question today. The answer is affirmative. Well, we need to ask why. Yes, he got mad, and that in itself disturbs us, I know. We want to stick with the version of Jesus who doesn't get mad, the Jesus who is full of mercy and forgiveness and comfort for us. The Jesus who did say, my peace I give you, my peace I leave with you. Do not let your hearts be troubled. Do not be afraid. To hear Jesus' gospel words today, well, I got to tell you, my Minnesota Nice Guard went flying right up. I heard something like a Lutheran church basement lady voice speaking to me. Don't you know, Jesus isn't really angry. He's just disappointed in you. The trouble is, as a preacher, I also have to take this message and I have to convey the tone of his voice and convey its true meaning. But it just wants to come out of me something more like, if you don't get in shape and get going for the Lord, hellfire's going to rain down on you. And don't you know, you'll be hotter than a tater tot in a casserole dish. Oofta. Where did our comforting Lord Jesus go today? What do these frightening words mean for us? I mean, after all, we are the church basement guys and gals. We're the faithful ones, giving our time and our talent and our money, cooking for the outdoor barbecue, mowing the grass, sending out care cards, bringing home communion, teaching the kids, watching the little ones in the nursery, traveling to Nashville, Tennessee and back, or the Dominican Republic and back. And all these acts of love and commitment and following Jesus do create a community that shines for those for whom some darkness has fallen and veiled their sight or their life. You shine and invite them to come into this light and this hope and life that is Jesus. So are these words, these frightening, harsh words, are they actually directed at us? Or was Jesus speaking to those stubborn Pharisees who refused to see the obvious, the Messiah, and the kingdom coming right before their eyes? Hard for us to imagine how they could go back to their lives in religion. Well, even the disciples hesitated, but let's give them some grace there. I mean, hanging out with Jesus was anything but certain. In fact, it was always uncertain what was going to happen next. And he seemed to break the rules of the Bible all the time. Going to touch a leper and making himself unclean. Going to the house of a tax collector and sullying his and their reputation. He wasn't following the Bible. Or he was. Because he was following the Bible's law of love. It just didn't match what everybody thought that would look like. But I'm not going to rail about sticking or giving up traditions. That's not what Jesus' words in this sermon is about. It goes much deeper than that. It's about commitment, That's what his words are, and they are for us too. Even us church basement guys and gals. Whenever we're holding on to something besides Jesus, and we do. And maybe that's part of his frustration too, that he would think by now we would know better. And be able to be bold and free. And really step out to proclaim the gospel. After all, we do that or we make another choice. There's really only two choices: to live in the kingdom of the world, or Jesus calls it the Beelzebul's world. That's an Old Testament name for the devil. Or his kingdom. One or the other, he says. You either stand with me and oppose what's going on in the world, or you live in the world and oppose me. And we know that choice is true. Boy, wasn't it something this week to see in the news? How amazing to hear Pope Francis call out the mafia. Did you see that? Check out the news. Yeah, he was saying the same thing. It reminded me of a scene from a movie. I'm hoping most of you have seen it. Now that we're indoors, we can take advantage of our multimedia to show a clip from it. It's called The Matrix. And this is from the first movie. It's kind of this idea that Jesus is presenting, all or nothing, truth or living in a make-believe world. And so the plot line of this story is that human beings, all of humanity has been enslaved by sentient thinking machines. And so the reality is that human beings are asleep and their bodies are in these pods by the millions, just being kept in a dream state for their body's energy. The energy and electrical activity the body gives is used by these sentient machines for power. And so the machines have created the illusion of a world that everyone's living in. But there are some rebels. And so Morpheus is a leader of the rebels, and he's giving Neo a choice to wake up. Or not. So let's watch it.